Hello, my name is Hannah. Thank you so much for coming to my channel where I talk all things costuming, cosplay, and live events. Today I am giving you 5 tips on how to thrift for the Ren Fair. So I am not going to lie here. I got inspired to do this video because somebody commented on one of my shorts saying that I faked finding a corset at the thrift store, that I planted it. I bought it from Amazon and planted it in the thrift store, and they thought I was doing it to get Amazon revenue. And that is not true. So I thought I'd give you a little tour on what I found at the thrift store before, and then some more helpful tips for you all to go to the thrift store. After I got that comment and was like hurt a little bit, I was actually out at the thrift store. I think I went to 3 thrift stores that day, and I found another corset from the thrift store that you can also find on Amazon. So when I found this one, I was like, it kind of looks like an Amazon corset, but also I've never seen this one before when I scroll through. So I found this one. There. Ooh. This is the front of it, and it's got a lot of like hanging details on it. And there's the back with the lace up. It's got these like cool pieces and this little belt bag that goes over it. And then there is the tag. I paid $10 for it. If you wanna. And it took me a while sleuthing on Amazon, and I did actually find it on Amazon. It is sold for $80 and has this like shoulder piece that comes with it that was not at the thrift store, but you know, that's okay because I probably wouldn't wear it with that shoulder piece anyway. So I think this is a steal. I think it's a really unique piece. I'm honestly not sure what I'm gonna wear with it. Maybe I'd wear it with like black pants instead of a skirt. I don't know, it's kind of edgy and I do really like it. So that was the most recent find. That is what I found when I was sad and somebody accused me of planting something in the thrift store. But let's take a look at some of the other ones that I found. Okay, this was my first ever find at the thrift store. I'm pretty sure it is handmade. It's got like a raw edge in the fabric up here, and it just doesn't look to be like the highest quality, but I do really like the fabric of it. It's almost like dragon hide-ish. And the fit on it is also a little weird. So when I bought it, I was like, I'm gonna fix this, and then I still have not ever fixed it, but it is still a really cool garment, and I definitely didn't pay more than $10 for it. Probably closer to 5, but I don't remember because it's been a while. And this is the one that I got accused of planting at the thrift store. It's just like your classic under bust corsets. So I think that's upside down. There we go. And then just like some normal lacing in the back. And one of the reasons I can tell it's from Amazon, not only like I've seen it on there before, but like usually when a tag looks something like that, it's coming from Amazon. And also the inside of it is just kind of basic, like it's just one layer of fabric instead of multiple layers. So this one I paid about $10 for as well. And this is my other most recent one. I think I found it in like November, maybe. Oh my goodness, this one was cheaper than I even remembered it. So this one was only $3.99. And it is just this cute like faux leather over bust corset. So yeah, I don't know. It's not staying together, but it's got the lace up in the back, and I was looking forward to doing like a Island Galathinius cosplay from Throne of Glass with it, and I still probably will. Life has been crazy. So a different second-hand store that is not a thrift store. So I did pay a little bit more for these. This one I wasn't sure when I found it if it was from Amazon or not. It was really cute, and I thought it might be from Amazon, but like I just loved the colors, and I thought the colors looked really good on me. So I don't know, I think I paid like maybe $30 for it or something, which is kind of overkill, but again, I really liked it and it was right in front of me. And I will also say, when I found this at the secondhand store, this man thought he knew everything and told me that this was the back. But when I did some digging like months later to see if it was actually from Amazon, I realized that this was actually the back. So my photos that I have in it, I have this as the front, and that is not correct. So I tried to put it on this way at first, and that man was like, "That's not how you put it on." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So ladies, if you think it's the front, it's probably the front. Don't let a man tell you otherwise. My first corset I purchased from that same secondhand store. I think this one is actually handmade. I will also say it's not really a corset because there's no boning in it. It's just like a nice fitted top. Just like that first one that I thought was like dragon hide-ish. And I want to say I probably paid around 30 for this one too. And I do really like it. It's nice and comfy, and I love the texture and the details on it. So those are my main bodice corset things I have found at the thrift store over the last 2 years, maybe. So it is possible to find these things there. And the other thing I want to say is, um, it's kind of like the sheer fact of reality that we live in right now, that like overconsumption. A lot of people will buy something like this and then toss it, donate it, like they wear it for Halloween and they're like, I'm never using this again, so I'm gonna get rid of it. So that's how those things end up in the thrift store, right? So a lot of things from Amazon and Shein, just in general, will end up in the thrift store. And I do like to go buy them from the thrift store because it's at least a little bit of savings, but it is also saving that garment from being just thrown away. And it's also supporting a local thrift store rather than Amazon. So like one of those, like the underbust corset I bought for like 10 and you can find it for like 16 on Amazon. Is that a huge savings? No, but the thrill I had when I found it was just incredible. So yeah, that's just the state of the world. You are going to be able to find things like this in the thrift store. Without further ado, let's get to the tips. Tip one, I say go as frequently as you can, and go to multiple thrift stores. So all of these things I have, they're, except for those last two that I showed you, they're all from different thrift stores. I don't think I have found one at the, like, I don't continually find them at one singular thrift store. And most of the time I find them on just a random day when I'm just stopping in to just, like, I don't know, see what's in there, right? I don't usually, I'm like, I'm gonna go look and find a corset today. Like, that doesn't really happen. But the more you come back and the more you check, the more likely you are to find something like this. I will say I don't typically find things like this at any of the Goodwill locations near me, but the smaller local thrift stores do typically have stuff like this in them. So if you only shop at Goodwill and you never find things like this, that might be why. Maybe try looking for a different thrift store, like Volunteers of America. That's not typically where I go, but I know that's another big one that you might be able to find things at. No shade to Goodwill because I do still shop there. I just don't typically find Ren Faire type things there. And the good news is that these types of garments are not what most people are looking for when they go thrifting. So that means once they're in there, they're probably going to stay there for a couple days until someone like us comes to rescue them and put them in a costume closet. Tip number two is to pick a few sections of the store to concentrate on, but definitely do a lap around all of the other sections in the thrift store. So most of the corsets I have found in the thrift store are not from one specific section. I would say about half came from the lingerie, women's sleepwear area, and then the other half were just like literally randomly on the end of an aisle somewhere. One time I found one in with like sheets and linens and things like that. Like someone had picked it up, considered it, and then put it back down somewhere else. So just because you don't find something in that like lingerie sleepwear area doesn't mean there's nothing in the store. Some of the sections I like to concentrate on personally. I really like looking in the lingerie section as I mentioned. I will also typically check the skirt section and the dress section. And when I go through those, I specifically look down to see is there a long length hem in a color, pattern, material, something that I think is going to work with things that I already have. So like going into the skirts, I know I'm not going to buy anything short. I'm looking for something that's long, so I automatically go and look for anything that is like long and flowy, anything that has that Ren Faire vibe. And I do the same thing in the dresses. So that saves a little bit of time. Sometimes if I'm just like hanging out and I want to waste some time, I will go through every single dress and see what's in there. Most of the time I don't do that. Most of the time I just do a quick walk and like look at what is hanging down on the rack. And that usually works pretty well for me. to be honest. The other section I will typically go to is the like blouse section, both short sleeve and long sleeve. This shirt I'm wearing right now is actually from the thrift store. I think I bought it new with tags, and it was originally from JCPenney, I want to say, but I really like the texture to it. I would absolutely pair this with some sort of corset or bodice and a skirt and wear it to the Ren Fair. I just really like the colors and the style of the shirt itself. So that's what I typically look for. I usually stay away from pants just because I'm very particular on how pants fit me, and typically I'm not going to find what I like at the thrift store. So yeah, that's tip number two. Pick a couple things that you know you're probably going to like and revisit those, but don't forget about the rest of the store. Similar note, tip number three is don't skip the accessories. I have found many wonderful belts, and they're often real leather belts, so I know that they're going to last. And I will typically wear like more than one belt on any given Ren Faire outfit, so it gives into that layering effect, which is really helpful for your overall look. I will also go look at the scarves, even if I'm not going to wear it like a traditional scarf. Like, I've definitely picked a couple up to be worn around the waist or like worn as a shawl instead of like an actual scarf. Those can add another great layering effect. And the other thing with the belts, I'm going to go back to the belts for a second, is you can also buy a leather belt. Maybe you're not going to wear it, but you're going to cut up and use that leather piece to make skirt hikes or a mug strap or bracelets or any other accessory like that. Like, it's a good place to buy a material if you're crafty and save some money on the material, because you're going to buy like a $2 belt at the thrift store. You know what I mean? Sometimes I will also look at the fashion jewelry. I have found necklaces, bracelets, and chokers and things like that, that will look for things I'm going towards. I've even found a Ren Faire belt bag and a wooden tankard from the thrift store before, so you really never know what you're gonna find. Yeah, I've also found like some nice big sun hats to protect my head on sunny days, and just adding a lot of accessories is a great way to elevate your full look. Like, some of my more recent looks, specifically my most recent pirate look, has so many layers and so many little details that like really elevate it and make it a successful look, at least in my opinion. Tip number four, check out the shoes. I know some people might get the ick from buying shoes at the thrift store, but to be honest, my favorite pair of black boots that I wear to the Ren Fair came from the thrift store. I put new insoles in them, and then they've been my go-to pretty much ever since. They can pretty much go with any look I have. I've worn them as like bar maiden type look, but also with pirate, like they just kind of go with everything, and they're great, but I've also found other boots and flats and other shoes new with tags at the thrift store before that will also work. Last summer, I found a pair of flats that had an ankle strap with them. They had the brand new tags from the store on them still, and I'm going to make them into like a fairy look. I swear, I promise I will get to it at some point. But I saw the shoes brand new with the tag in my size. It's like, you're coming home with me. And tip number five is to go in with an open mind. And if you're new to this, maybe bring in some reference photos, maybe going through Pinterest or searching like the Ren Fair tag on Instagram, finding some social media folks, looking for things that you like that you would like to replicate yourself. Having that sort of vision in mind, if you're not used to it, I think is really helpful. And you can stop at a couple of thrift stores and look and see, okay, I found a skirt that is really similar to this. Cool, let's build from here. Or I love this top. I found this linen top. It's going to be great. Okay, cool. Let's find some other stuff to go along with it. My very first Ren Fair outfit, I got almost 100% from the thrift store. I have grown a lot since that. And I think I do still have the shirt from that first time at the Ren Fair, but everything else I have since found better versions of, because I think I only went like to the thrift store like one day and was like, I'm gonna see what I can find. And then when I realized how much I love the Ren Fair, I got way more into it. And then also, along with that, I will often go through and add a bunch of maybes to my cart. And then when I feel like I'm ready to go, I will like have a real conversation with myself. Like, okay, am I actually going to wear this? Do I have something that is going to go well with this? If it is inspiring me to make a new outfit, am I actually going to make it? Or is it going to sit in my pile of maybes forever and ever? This can be very challenging, but I know I don't have a lot of space, And I know I'm trying not to become a hoarder and to avoid overconsumption. So it is a healthy and necessary step for me to make sure I don't bring home a whole bunch of stuff from the thrift store every time I'm there. And I also know that my husband appreciates it when I don't bring a million bags home from the thrift store. So that is just kind of an overview of my process and things that I think will help others in their process. Those are my 5 tips. If you have a tip that I didn't mention, please feel free to comment down below. I'd love to hear what others do when crafting their own Ren Faire costumes. And that brings me to the end of this video. If you liked it, please feel free to leave a comment, a like, subscribe, or even share the video with a friend. It really helps. I appreciate you, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.